Let's do this. Normally, I would be looking forward to something like this. But, there's something I'm gonna need to talk about here when we get to the end of this dungeon that honestly upsets me. But it's also a controversial topic because, well, let's just say the court of public opinion has different feelings about this than what an actual court of law determined. But anyway, we'll talk about when we get there. So welcome to the final dungeon of the Burning Crusade. Well, this is not the actual dungeon yet. This is the Isle of Keldanis, which is basically... I mean, it's... You can see the dead scar there. This is basically what was supposed to be essentially the areas of Quel'Thalas where the Sunwell was. Like, we've got the Eversong Woods, and of course, you can see, like, there's the Dread Scar, the Dead Scar, which goes all the way through Silvermoon, like, just right down the middle, and then you notice, like, it goes into the water. Well, that's because it went here. Right here. Because they were pushing their way all the way to the Sunwell. So yeah, with the conclusion of what happened in the Black Temple, there was one thing left to do. Because you would have thought, well, we took down Illidan. Wasn't that part of the point? Wasn't he the main villain? Well, actually, no. Because, again, the Alzheimer's thing, this was their way of trying to salvage the Burning Crusade story to have it make a bit more sense. Which was to remind everybody that this was actually the doing of Kil'jaeden and the Burning Crusade. The Burning Legion, not Illidan, since that, of course, would never make any sense. Like, why would... Illidan be our main enemy when the Burning Legion is our enemy. But yeah, again, Alzheimer's. I just have to say that and you guys understand what I'm talking about. I mentioned this when we started the dungeons in this expansion and how it's just been a constant confusing issue throughout, and it continues here. Now, I've talked about the raid. I've already done the Soling Raids video on the Sunwell Plateau raid, where we go there and we take down Kil'jaeden, and the Sunwell gets restored. But before we did that, before we went into the raid, we had one thing we had to deal with. We had to go to the Magister's Terrace. Now, this was a place where there was a lot of dailies that you could do. And from what I've heard, it was actually pretty good content. A lot of people really enjoyed the content here. By the way, you can see my warrior has... gotten a bit of an upgrade since the last time he was doing these dungeon videos. My warrior has gotten to some current content, and he's up to 456. So, been mainly playing him as prot, trying to play more prot. I've got some decent gear on him. I've got that necklace from Volcross, 2 decent tank trinkets, and I have the actual Bulwark of Azeroth. This dropped for me when we took down Illidan and Time Walking Black Temple, believe it or not. So this is the Magister's Terrace, and the reason why... After his defeat in Tempest Keep, Kael'thas, Sunstrider, publicly revealed his alliance with the ruthless Burning Legion. Intent upon summoning the Demon Lord Kil'jaeden, Kael'thas has returned to the Isle of Keldanis to make the final preparations for his master's arrival. That's why we're here. Because before we deal with Kil'jaeden trying to be brought into our world via what's left of the Sunwell, we have to take down Kael'thas one more time. Now, you would have thought, wait a minute, didn't he die in Tempest Keep? Yes? But that doesn't mean he can't be brought back. But I'll talk more about that when we reach him. By the way, this can still be a little nasty go through on, Oh, really? He doesn't have the quests? Well, that's a shame. Well, in that case, I'm going to have to swap to a character that hasn't done the quest sitting here before we actually do this. So I will be right back. Alright, so welcome back. So it looks like on one of my demon hunters here, the quests have not been done, so...
Chronokai Christor. May your days
We've had a contact embedded in Magister's Terrace gathering intelligence for us for some time now, but we've lost contact with him. The information he was collecting is vital to our mission.
Remain vigilant.
The Legion and Kael'thas's forces are becoming increasingly intertwined. This concerns me very deeply. From what we can gather, Selene Fireheart and Priestess Terrace work closely together to unite the two armies. You need to stop them.
Dionys Aka.
We cannot afford to lose this war. I like to empower our sentries so that brave men and women don't have to die. The Legion has gotten a hold of a powerful elemental being. Its essence could be just what we need.
Remember the lessons of the past.
So, the Shattered Sun, of course, are here in full force. Now, you may also be wondering what else is going on here in regards to, like, what Kael'thas is doing here. Especially when it comes to some of the forces he's amassed on behalf of the Burning Legion. Trying to see whether or not he can actually, Oh, really? Jeez Louise. Really? Yeah, forgive me. I don't like the talent that all of a sudden makes it where Throw Glaive actually costs Fury. I liked it when it doesn't cost anything, you know? I know that it throws the second glaive at the target, but yeah, no. It's not a big deal. This is obviously not my main. This is just one ult that I've kind of abandoned, but I still use for farming purposes. But yeah, you see a lot of Sunblade forces here, and you'll see a lot more as we continue. And of course, statues of Kael'thas throughout all of this area, because that's how beloved he was. Now this is an interesting place to talk about here. I'll never stop. Never! So if you've been following the storylines of the Blood Elves since the starting zone, this makes a lot of sense. These are wretched. I want you to take a look at them. Faces. Look at their backs. Their skin. This is very much similar to, if you saw my coverage of what happened in Suramar with the Nightfallen when they were cut off from the Nightwell. This is a very extremely similar thing. This is why the Blood Elves... This is why they sympathized with them so much when it came to what was going on with them. And why they were more than okay and eager to help them out when that ended up being the case. But yeah, just to show this angle right here, you can see just like in their backs. I mean, just look at that. Ugh. But yeah, this is what happens when they need magic and they're cut off, and now they're having Fel. This is also what Fel can very much do to them as well. Now this guy, this guy is another example of this, where he's kind of basically trying to just kind of soak it all in as well for himself. And you can see what it's doing to him. He's got red skin. You can see the Fel crystal in his chest. And how he's just like drinking it in. Yeah. Once a respected captain of Kael'thas Sunstrider's personal guard, Sellen Fireheart has maintained an unswervingly fierce loyalty to his lord, while losing his sanity. Sellen has been seduced by the demonic energies of the crystals, which surround his chamber and cannot stop from reveling in their vile power. He will slay any who dare approach the Magister's terrace and will drink the magic life and blood from their dead bodies. So I want to get him to do something, but I'm concerned I may have to reduce his health, and I don't know how to do that without insta-killing him. So he's got 136,000 health apparently. All right, I'm gonna try something.
You only waste my time.
Alright, let's see if he does the crystal and I can get the quote.
My hunger knows no bounds. Yes, I am a god!
I love that quote. The way the actor says it. Yes, I am a god! This is what some of us refer to as vampire syndrome. When they get so full of themselves with power that they think that they are just unstoppable! I am a god! Yeah. This is also the kind of thing that Fel can absolutely do to you. So yeah, this is why it could probably be very tough if you're not able to stop him, especially with the crystals, because he'll just go around and keep on soaking them.
Yes, I am a god!
Just one more time. By the way, very interesting portrait there. Kind of showing that they were making the way for Kill Jaden quite a bit. Don't question the statues. Don't question it. So these are worms, basically. They're called bright scale worms, but they're basically mana worms. Which, yeah, there's a lot of them in here. Which, when you think about what's been going on with the Blood Elves, it actually makes a lot of sense. The amount of arcane and magic they're trying to get for food. Yeah. Well, looks like we found him. Come closer, Blood Elf. Listen carefully to my words. Go to the terrace. Use the orb. Hurry. They must be stopped before they can. Sorry, Terrace. So this can be kind of a little funny part of the dungeon here, when you charge through and you just are like, yes, AoE, all of these things! It can kind of lag your game, obviously.
It's too far
Also, apparently
away.
that one's stuck in the wall. Whatever. So, this is an arcane elemental. Now you might be going, why would they have this here? Again, food, mana, magic. They are so desperate that they are more than okay with having one of these things here. An arcane elemental of unimaginable power, Vexalis was summoned to the Magister's Terrace by a trio of blood elves who were slain by the force of his arrival. The magical energy in the surrounding crystals resonates within Vexalis, and his being is in a constant state of explosive chaotic flux. Okay, so he has some mechanics that are kind of determined by health. His health bar. Unfortunately, I wasn't able to show them off for you. But, like, basically from what I remember in Time Walking, like, sometimes some ads will show up and when we kill them, he actually, like, absorbs them and it makes him bigger. And, you know, it's like, it's one of those kind of like, oh crap, oh crap, oh crap. You gotta, like, try and kill him as fast. Otherwise, it's gonna get a little out of hand. So, you want to see how a dungeon likes to tease and set up a raid? Check out what this scrying orb shows us. By the way, that's the raid over there. If you can't tell, it's one of those things that kind of gives it away. That's the ramp we run up to make our way towards the final area, where Uru is. So yeah. Be still, mortals, and hearken to my words. Hey, Caligos.
Kil'jaeden must be destroyed.
Who are you? I'm Caligos of the Blue Dragonflight. I watched over the nascent powers of the Sunwell for some time, but now I see that its terrible power could usher in the end of our world. What can we do to assist you? Defeating Kael'thas is a task worthy of your undivided attention. Beyond that, if you are capable of organizing an army, there are many wrongs in the Sunwell to be addressed. Perhaps we shall meet again there. Yeah, no kidding.
The world hangs in the balance.
What brings you to the Sunwell? A friend and I have come to rescue a young human woman from the clutches of the Legion Lord Kil'jaeden and his vile minions. We've discovered that Kael'thas is trying to summon Kil'jaeden from the depths of the Sunwell itself. For the sake of this world, this cannot come to pass. I'm committed to seeing that it does not. What does Kil'jaeden want with a mortal woman? Anvina is no mere mortal, Blood Elf. Those who recognize her true nature stop at nothing to possess her. She once rescued me, and now I intend to return the favor.
There is no time to waste.
We are not alone here. Madrigos accompanied me on this journey, but we have become separated in the Sunwell. May fate keep her safe. Yeah, about that.
The world hangs in the balance.
Anyways.
Kil'jaeden must be destroyed.
I consider it to be no coincidence that our paths cross this day. I sense the tendrils of destiny.
There is no time to waste.
As you've now witnessed, the Legion forces work tirelessly, manipulating the Sunwell's power to achieve their malevolent ends. Kael'thas has risen from the ashes of defeat and once more leads them in their efforts. He must be stopped. I'm going to go ahead and take a moment to show you how Kael'thas looks in this here, because it may be a little hard to do so later. But for one thing, you'll notice he's only got 2 of the orbs now. That's because we took one of them when we kill him in the raid. As a nice little thing there. You'll also notice his skin looks different. And of course, the most obvious thing is he has a giant fel crystal in his chest. Which is insane. Like, that is absolutely bonkers. But it kind of gives you an idea as to where he is now in terms of his head. Let's just say this is not the same Kael'thas that we fought in Tempest Keep. As far as I'm concerned, the real Kael'thas that we know, he died in Tempest Keep and then went on to the Shadowlands. What we see here is a corpse walking around calling himself Kael'thas, but it's not really him.
Kil'jaeden must be destroyed.
Not the real Kael'thas that we do know.
I don't have a target.
So this part of the dungeon can get a little rough. The Sentinels on their own, not too bad. But this is the room where if you pull too many things here, it can get pretty chaotic. For one thing, you'll notice the Sisters of Torment here, along with these Magisters. They can definitely cause some problems. There's also some imps here. Yeah, Sunblade imps and such, yeah. So yeah, when I've done this in time walking, this can get rough. This is where some wipes can happen if you pull too many. There are times we do try to stick to just one side of the room and then just kind of squeak by. Because, yeah, it can get pretty rough.
I need a target.
Just lots of these different Sunblade forces throughout this area here. Now this is a bit of a nasty council fight here. So, this is about Priestess Delrissa, but let's be clear, all 5 of these people here are the actual fight. This is a straight-up council fight. Delrissa is the main boss here, but these are also part of the fight as well. So, Zelfan, I actually forget, I think Yazi or Yazai is the mage here because he's going to be the one who's casting things like Blizzard. I think Apoko is supposed to be, like, the paladin. Nightstrike is, of course, the rogue. And I think Zelfan, I actually forget. But anyways. This fight can get nasty with it being, yeah, so you can actually see some of the mechanics here. Actually, it'll help showcase it. Delrissa is a Shavar priestess acting under the Demon Lord Kil'jaeden. It is Delrissa who revived Kael'thas after he was heavily wounded in an attack on Tempest Keep, and she has stayed in the Blood Elf Lord's presence ever since. The priestess has a militant circle of loyal acolytes who serve her and will defend her at all costs. So yeah, she's the one who went into Tempest Keep after we beat him in the raid and brought him back. So she, of course, is a shadow priest. She has... Actually, she might be more like a discipline priest because she's got Shadow Word Pain, but she's also got Power Word Shield, Renew, Flash Heal, Dispel, Magic, Psychic Scream. Her minions. She has 4 minions who have been chosen to defend her. Nightstrike is, of course, he's a rogue. He's got Backstab, Eviscerate, Vanish, Crippling Poison, Kick, Kidney Shot, Gouge. We've got... Did I not see... Or maybe they're just... Maybe they rotate. Maybe these guys rotate whenever you come in here, because it looks like those are they're different ones here. So Dusk Hallow could also be there, who is a warlock, Seed of Corruption, Death Coil, Fear, Shadow Bolt, Immolate, Curse of Agony, an Imp, Medallion of Immunity. Bright Blaze is I guess the Snap Kick, Knockdown, and Fists of Arcane Fury. Huh. I was gonna say an Arcane Mage, but I'm not entirely sure about that. So Yazai, yeah, I was right. Yazai is the Frost Mage who casts Blizzard, Cone of Cold, has Ice Block, which is annoying to finish him off when he casts that. Frostbolt, Frost Nova, Blink, Polymorph. Yeah, you gotta deal with these things. Solaris. I feel like that's a familiar name, but that's basically a Warrior, Intercept, Battle Shout, Piercing Howl, Mortal Strike, Disarm, Hamstring. Yeah. Garaxis. Sliver, Aim Shot, Multi-Shot, Wing Clip. So yeah, the Marksman Hunter. Apoko is the Shaman, actually. It looks like the kind of just hybrid Shaman. Wind Fury Totem with Healing Wave, Purge, Frost Shock, Earthbind Totem, War Stomp. And then Zelfan is High Explosive Sheep, Goblin Gun, Rocket Launch, Fell Bomb. I guess... It's not really a class, just is there, I suppose.
Annihilate them!
Yeah, she'll be like, annihilate them! He casts High Explosive Sheep. They drop the totems. So yeah, this is where this fight can get really nasty. Yeah, that fight can get a little nasty. And then we come to, of course, the last one here. Which, of course, is Kael'thas. So I'm going to read the lore here before I let him speak, because then I have something to talk about when you hear his voice. Once a true champion to the Blood Elf people and a defender of the race's ancient heritage, Kael'thas Sunstrider has fallen prey to the dark influences of the demon Kil'jaeden while sojourning in Outland. At the bidding of his new master, the wayward prince returned to Azeroth and seized the Sunwell, hoping to use the fount as a means to open a doorway for the demon to this new and verdant world. Kael'thas is a brilliant tactician, a powerful warrior, and his veins burn with limitless fell magic.
Don't look so smug. I know what you're thinking, but Tempest Keep was merely a setback. Did you honestly believe I would trust the future to some blind, half-night elf mongrel? Oh, no. He was merely an instrument, a stepping stone to a much larger plan. It has all led to this. And this time, you will not interfere.
So, you probably realized and recognized that Kael'thas sounds a little different. So anyone who knows Warcraft and has been following it for years, going back to Warcraft 3, knows that Kael'thas has always been voiced by a gentleman known as Quentin Flynn. You guys have probably heard me bring him up before. He is a very well-known, very well-accomplished, and very popular voice actor. He has voiced not just Kael'thas since Warcraft 3, mind you, but he has also voiced iconic characters like Raiden from the Metal Gear Solid games, including Metal Gear Rising: Revengeance, but he has also voiced Axel from the Kingdom Hearts games. He's done a lot of great voice acting over the years. He's very accomplished, very, very good at what he does. And the lines he did here were very iconic and very well done because, well, let's just say Kael'thas at this point is a very... The lines that said here can be very disturbing at the end. You know, to the point where it just kind of like makes you go, oh my gosh. But that's not his voice anymore. So, in 2020, I want to also remind you guys that around this time also, work on Shadowlands had already been done. And there was also some word going around about that, you know, that Kael'thas was going to be coming back and such, which had me excited because that meant that we were going to probably get to hear Quentin Flynn play Kael'thas again, which we did. In fact, if you probably check out some of my Shadowlands videos, when we do that particular wing in LFR, you'll probably catch some of those voice lines. However, in 2020, late 2020, about November, a Twitter account started accusing Quentin Flynn of sexual harassment. And this was also around the time of these kind of things getting thrown out as well towards lots of other people. A lot of these kind of accusations were coming out as well towards other people. I think it was called the Me Too movement or something like that. And it kind of started a movement to get people replaced or fired or canceled. And in fact, I think the term cancel culture was tossed around this. I'm not trying to really open a discussion about this topic. I know this is a very controversial, touchy subject and topic for a lot of people, especially when it comes to things like sexual allegations, or especially harassment allegations, and whether or not they're false or true and such, and all that stuff. But here's kind of like where it starts to get, where it kind of bothers me. So, it was determined, because it did end up going to court, and a superior court found that the allegations against Mr. Flynn were false because they were being thrown by an obsessed stalker. But here's the part that upsets me about this. It's one thing where it's like, okay, well, he got falsely accused by a stalker, and it was proven to be false and not true. Okay. Though the thing is, the court of public opinion out there still says that they have seen it where sometimes he does things like that, where apparently he does creepy things to, like, teenage girls or something like that. Again, it's like, if that was the case, I would think that's the kind of thing that we brought in, but maybe they were only doing those specific allegations. I don't know. I'm not sure whether or not any of that stuff is actually true or not, but, you know, I personally have not seen a lot of that stuff, but I'd like to give the gentleman the benefit of the doubt unless it's actually proven to be true. That's just kind of like my thinking. It's like, unless I see evidence of or proof of this, I'd like to give the benefit of the doubt that maybe it's not true, and the fact that these allegations were actually proven to be false is kind of part of the point. But here's the problem. Before that was determined in the Superior Court, Blizzard decided to go ahead and take the word of the accuser and carry forth a sort of a cutting ties with him. Now, it's one thing to fire someone and say, we're no longer going to be working with this person. It's another when you then decide to also bring someone else in and have them redo everything they did, as if all their contributions never happened. And that's what happened here. And this brings up something that, this is one of the reasons why this actually bothers me, this situation. The idea of rewriting history to erase something from history that did happen, but we don't want to acknowledge it for some reason, so we want to pretend it never happened. We want to rewrite history and make it that like as if it never happened. And to me, that's a very, very dangerous way of thinking. That's a very dangerous line and road to go down. Because where do you stop that? Where does it end? Where do we stop rewriting history of things we don't want to remember or don't want other people going forward to remember, when in fact those are things we should remember. We should remember them and not forget them so that we don't repeat the mistakes of the past. So that we use them as tales, cautionary tales, if you will, to try and prevent these things from happening again in the future. Now, that's kind of an extreme example that I'm going for, but it's part of the point I'm making, that if you go down this road, at what point do you stop and say, okay, that's far enough, we're not going to take this any farther, you know? And just the very idea of erasing what happened in history and making it seem as if pretending it never happened is something that very much bothers me. And that's what Blizzard tried to do here. They brought in another person, and by the way, Blizzard was not the only one that did this. Apparently Riot Games also did the same thing, where they brought someone in and had them re-record all the lines of dialogue they had ever contributed as this character. So now, we never hear Quentin Flynn as Kael'thas ever again in this game, unless you have some kind of actual recording from when it was still in the game. They replaced all of his dialogue in Burning Crusade and Shadowlands with a different voice actor, who in my opinion sounds worse. I don't like this new voice actor. I think they don't do a good job hitting the subtleties and the real true moments of what they're trying to say and get across, like Quentin Flynn was able to. There's a line that Kael'thas is going to say here after we beat him in this fight that is chilling and just terrifying when you hear how disturbing it sounds, because Quentin Flynn did a great job of making it sound incredibly disturbing to the point where you're just like, oh my gosh. But this guy, I don't feel anything when I hear him say these lines. And it just really bothers me. There's a petition, I believe, out there of people saying, requesting for Blizzard to restore his voice, to restore the voice lines. And considering that he was falsely accused and that the allegations were proven to be not true, I don't see why they shouldn't. You know, the same thing happened with Johnny Depp. They immediately believed the accusations against him, cut ties with him, and then when it was shown in court that it wasn't true, they tried to backtrack and be like, sorry. And at that point, I mean, I don't blame Johnny Depp for being like, nope, not after the way you treated me. And I wouldn't blame Quentin Flynn if they ever asked him to come back and he was like, nope. But at least restore his lines. At least restore the work that he actually did contribute years ago. Like, if they had just done the Shadowlands stuff, I probably wouldn't be as bothered by it, you know, as much. But it's the fact that they went to content from many years ago. Think about how long ago Burning Crusade came out. And they can just go and undo content that was made many years ago and just act as if nothing has, like, this is how it's always been. That's extremely dangerous. To just undo someone's contribution and work. Like, just because you don't want them to be remembered, you don't want to associate with them, when I think the opposite should be true. We should keep these things around to remember. We shouldn't forget these things. We shouldn't try to pretend they didn't happen. Now, again, this is a different situation. I'm kind of blending 2 points I'm trying to make here about this situation. But, yeah. They replaced Quentin Flynn's voice actor with somebody else that I think did a worse job. He was falsely accused and proven to be innocent. And I am very upset still that it is some other guy that's not as good and not Quentin Flynn we're listening to. And I just get concerned about this very idea and issue happening going forward, you know? The idea of this happening in other industries or for someone else's work. What if, like, we just decide to undo his entire career? Just have, like, Konami get somebody to redo all of Raiden's voice lines from all the Metal Gear Solid games. That Square Enix gets someone to redo all of Axel's lines from all the Kingdom Hearts games. Just completely have somebody else, someone we don't really know who, someone who's we don't really care about, someone who's less accomplished, just some random guy in the office to come and redo his lines, you know? It's different when, say, this is not the same situation as, say, when an actor passes away. Like, this is not the same as when Mako passed away, and they had to bring another gentleman in to do the voice lines for Aku in Samurai Jack, and Iroh in Avatar The Last Airbender. Like, this is not the same thing. I hope I got his name right. Zuko's uncle, you know. I think his name was Iroh. It's been a while since I've watched the show. But you get my point, right? Like, it's one thing if the actor passes away and you have to bring a replacement in. It's another when you do this knee-jerking at accusations before you find out whether or not they are true, and then you don't undo it when you have it's been proven that you made a mistake. Like, if Blizzard restored Quentin Flynn's voice lines, I wouldn't have as much of an issue with this. But the fact that they did this and they are unwilling to go back when it was proven to be a false accusation still really bothers me. I'm sorry if this is a topic that may upset some people, but this is just honestly how I feel about this situation. And it concerns and scares me from a bigger picture perspective. Like I said, if you go down this road, where do you stop? Where does this reach a point where you say, okay, we're not going to go any farther than this? Because some people may not know when to stop. They just may keep going and going. You know? Anyways, I had to get that off my chest. Then this is why I kept putting this video off for so long. It was a topic I was concerned about talking about, but honestly, I've been wanting to wrap this up so we can also continue with this series. So, now let me talk about this from a, well, first off, as I said, look at him. Look at that crystal jammed into his chest. This is not the same Kael'thas, and that's a big contribution as to why. But I also, again, love the fact that the third orb is missing, because we took it. But, yeah, this can be a kind of a crazy fight, where it's not as insane as the one in Tempest Keep, but, yeah. I don't think I can show off this fight proper because I think it transitions based on health percentage, and I don't really have a way to do that. Yep.
Turn your world
accomplishes nothing.
upside
The
down.
Master will have you. You will drown in your own blood. The world shall burn.
Yeah, you were better as Quentin Flynn. But like, I'm telling you guys, when Quentin Flynn did these lines right here, you will drown in your own blood. The world shall burn. Ah! Like, Quentin Flynn did it in a way that just sounded so disturbing. Like, oh my gosh. And that I was just like, you're just being a poor impersonator. So, I've already got the mount, just for the record. And we decide to cut off Kael'thas's head. And and use it to turn in the quest.
Good fortune. Blessings upon your family. Remain vigilant.
Terrace will be missed. Good man, that one. Thanks to you, though, his death wasn't in vain.
Blessings upon your family. Remember the
I
lessons
can't wait
of
to
the
present
past.
this project to my superiors.
May your days be long.
Well
Your
done,
hardships.
soldier. One step at a time.
Do not lose faith.
So if you don't want to hearth out, you can always just go over here to this orb and just be like, whoop, I'm out. And be like, hey, here we are.
Your gold is welcome here.
Especially if you're wanting to
Remember
go
the
ahead and
sun
work on
well.
some of these. Oh, hello.
Farewell. Time is of the essence. Stay the course.
Huh. Well, anyways. You can see there's more wretched out here. But yeah, basically that was a nice little setup where now we've taken down Kael'thas, so now we can make our way into the Sunwell Plateau raid to try and stop Kil'jaeden. If you want to see that, you can see the video I did about the raid. But that is it for the Burning Crusade, ladies and gentlemen. We are done with the dungeons here in the Burning Crusade. Which means, next time, when soloing dungeons continues, we will be heading to the wrath of the Lich King. Stay tuned.